Hello, this is about graphical user interface, or GUI as we call it sometimes. Most of you have grown up, you have experienced interacting with the computers through some interface, some objects, but that is a phenomenon that it was not the case some years ago. When I started with the PCs, we had to deal with a command line. So what you see here, this black grid, is what we call the command line, and that's what we used to see on our computer. The only difference is that the text was green color instead of the white, and later on you had the choice of having a yellowish and amber color text. In order to navigate files and folders, for example, what is now known at the Windows environment as a Windows Explorer, we had to issue commands. For example, currently the system displays that I'm pointing to a folder, we call them directories, named AK, which is a subdirectory of users, and users is a directory in the root of the drive name C:. If I wanted to go to the root of the drive, I had to issue some commands to do so. One of those commands, for example, is the change directory, and it will take me a step backwards towards the root of the directory, and then the same thing again, and now I'm pointing to the root of the drive C. If I wanted to see the content of the root directory, we have to type dir, hit the enter key, and the system will give me a list of directories or folders as we know them now. And if I want to move to one of these directories, I will have to type change directory and then the name of the directory. I'm going to go to the Python programs folder. So cd change directory and go to Python programs. You see that the system points to that folder, clear screen, and clears the screen from whatever is there. Again, if I wanted to see what is inside that folder, I will have to type dir for directory. The system will display very similar information, more or less, to what you see now through the GUI environment, the name of the file, the date stamp for that file, the size, etc., etc. There was nothing graphical, no boxes, no check marks, no mouse to interact with the computer. So that was the story then. Let's see what's the story today, and I'm going to do the same thing, go from one folder to another. Actually, I'm going to go to the same directory and display the exact same contents that we see here. I have moved from the root of the drive to a subfolder, a subdirectory, which is the Python programs as I called. The right pane displays the contents of that Python programs folder, again with the date stamps, the size, the name, etc., etc. But it's much easier to navigate this environment rather than remembering the commands that you have to issue in order to go from one place to another and display the content. In Python, as many other languages, supports through graphics libraries this notion of creating objects to facilitate the user in navigating your system or your program. And we have done that throughout our Python experience by using the graphics.py library to create the various objects, text boxes, entry objects, graphical-based objects to facilitate, as we said, the interaction between the user and the computer. Here you see an implementation of graphical user interface environment using Python and the graphics.py library. We are familiar with all the objects we see on that form, on that canvas. We have the text object, we have the entry objects, circles. As a matter of fact, where it says no choice, we have two concentric circles to indicate, in this example, the default choice. And then we have a rectangle and some text to emulate the button. Here, the user is going to enter first and last name. The user has finished typing the name and is about to choose the gender. The user may leave the choice no choice, which is the default one, or the user may choose another gender he or she may click, and that will indicate the choice for gender. Then we assume this user will click on the command button to trigger through the click event what it should happen. At this point, we assume the system has taken the information and processed the information, and after the data have been processed, the system will revert to its initial state and wait for the user to take action again. So this is again a very simple example of user interface, of a graphical user interface using Python and the graphics.py library. Thank you.